back to episode 61 of State of Scrims. We hit a big number with 60 on the last one. It was our third consecutive Baker-based podcast, and I believe we're going to get to actually keep going on that this time around. So kind of exciting. Do want to start off this podcast by we were gypped the opportunity for an interview after our last series, and whenever I play against a team that gives us a really good run, I always like to shout them out. So just want to take like a minute or so to just shout out Albert's Inferno. Newer to the server for sure. Teddy's been around forever, but the team only has existed for the last 2 seasons. They started out barely missing playoffs last year in 7th and made a huge improvement up to 4th this year. A lot of the roster is basically exactly the same. They had a couple new players come in. Kai pulled over, and then Vitus and Brian. Some new additions there. And just, I don't know, really enjoyed playing against them. Had a super good series against them and wanted to shout out all their players. Like everyone on that team has leveled up in a huge way from the last season, and it's been super fun getting to watch them. I hate that we had to be the ones to knock him out. I was rooting for him so hard last season, and I loved them this season too. So it sucks to get matched up against them in the losers bracket, but is the way it went. But I want to give them big shout out, and also proud of my team. I feel like we've really pulled our shit together in the last couple of weeks. But anyway.
Yeah, I thought Alberts had a great season, and I was a really big fan of them last season too. And they're one of the teams that really kept pretty much the exact same roster. They had some more subbing going on this season. You got to see a few more players, but it's not very common in the server that a team keeps basically 5 players. It's happened before, but it's not very common. So to see them stick with what they had last season, stick with their group, their players, their friends, and see that improvement, it was awesome to see. And yeah, I thought they all played really, really good this season, and yeah, just credit to them.
Yep. Well, anyway, we will kick it over and talk about all the series that have happened, including that one. I just full screened the wrong thing. Kind of a genius for that one. But anyway, I think 3 series have happened since our last podcast, but we didn't really talk about BB versus Rift Sharks in the last one, so we can kind of talk about this one now. But anyway, 3 series did occur, and or 3 out of the 4 series that did occur all happened to be upsets, which I think is kind of a testament to how exciting these playoffs have been.
Yeah.
So, we actually 4 out of the 6 total series have been upsets. Say what you want about the rosters, but
upsets on top of being 2-0s. It's one thing to have upsets, but then it's not even usually an upset's 2-1. Oh, how do we barely pull it out? It's been every single series has been a 2-0.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. You can take a look at the bracket here. It's literally 4 series have been the team with outside select wins on the side they don't get to choose, and then just does it again. If we do take a peek at the stats page, here, I'm going to cut this one back to seasons. I think I opened up a new tab. Yeah, I believe it's actually QC did end up switching sides after their loss. Same with Metabusters. Actually, okay, my narrative is broken because that's happened in basically every series except for this recent one. So ignore what I say. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore that. I'm just clicking on all the wrong tabs here. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I am not locked in. If you know, the meme there. But yes, very exciting series. Definitely for BB versus Rift Sharks, that was not the way we won that series to happen. Sucks that Taxi wasn't able to make it. But I do feel like we showed up and had a good run, and I feel like that is proven with the series that we had last night. But I will let Gruer do most of the talking for the other 2 series, since you were there on the cast for both of them.
Yeah, so first that would be the Alberts Infernos versus Metabuster series, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so that one to me, if you'd like to pull up the games, I'd love to kind of talk through each of the games. But that was an exciting series for me going into it. Obviously, you can't ignore it. The biggest bummer of that series was the fact that Snow was unavailable, who to me had been Metabusters' best player this season, or at least kind of the MVP of that team. So they had to kind of field this new roster, or not new roster, but they subbed in Tom for Snow. But then on top of that, they didn't just sub Tom into Snow's position. They kind of rearranged everything. So it was a really different look for Meta Busters than what we had seen. They chose to put Noam into mid lane, going up against Omar. They had Tom on AD carry, and they put Foosier in jungle. Obviously, I know they practiced, they scrimmed, they prepped. This is what they felt like their strongest iteration was. It felt like a hard matchup to me because I think the strength of Albert's is their AD carry in their mid lane. And it felt like Tom was a downgrade to Noam's performance, and Noam was a downgrade to Foosier's performance in mid over the course of the season holistically. And then I think Foosier's a great jungler. I mean, he's been, top tier first scrims jungler before. I mean, he is that level of jungler, but it felt like you matched up poorly into Albert's biggest strengths with this lineup, and I think it kind of got shown during the games. I mean, game one would have been the Vitis on Zeri game, and I mean 13-0 and 10.
Jesus.
Just an absolutely amazing performance. I also thought they drafted extremely intelligently. You got a pretty nice spot for Cassiopeia into the Xin Zhao and into the Renekton. If I recall correctly, they were showing Ornn. They first picked Sona, if I recall correctly, and then they picked Zeri and Ornn, which meant on blue 4-5, they locked in Udyr plus Cassiopeia once Xin Zhao got taken. So at that point, the only champion that Meta Busters has not picked is the Syndra, and I just felt like Foosier was forced to blind pick, not knowing what jungler or mid he was playing against. Xin Zhao is like a typically strong jungler right now, and he's not bad at the champion, so I don't hate it. But his game became instantly hard to play because the Udyr plus Cassiopeia was such a smart choice. It's Omar's best champion, in my opinion, that or the Akali. And Albert's been playing so good on the Udyr, and I want to credit him too. I was pretty critical of Albert in the earlier parts of the season. I think he was one of the weaker members of the team when they were losing, and I think what really helped their team out so much was he really expanded his champion pool. Coming into the season and last season, he basically only played Skarner, Amumu, and Lilia, and then this season, he added on top of those 3 picks, he added a really good Udyr, he added a really good Echo, and I think that helped them out a lot. And as you saw in that game, it paid major dividends. The Udyr was just a perfect champ in that spot. They end up last picking the Syndra for Noam, and while I do think Syndra is a good pick into Cassiopeia, they just were never really able to get off the ground. Vitis played great, and that was kind of game 1. Game 2, you're flipping the side at that point. You're flipping the side for game 2. And
okay, let me pull up the draft for that. The first one literally took the entire time you were talking to load, which is great. But you were right about the Sona first pick, and then Ornn was picked into Renekton.
I also thought the Sona first pick was really intelligent, and
I guess the draft wall doesn't want to load.
To me, the Sona was really smart, and they came in with just a really good draft plan. Like AI had such a good draft plan. Just in the
I thought we
immediate
said
prep
no
too.
AI drafts. What the fuck?
Excuse me, because I praised the the 4-5 pick, but that's reactionary at a certain point. Like you can come in with prep, but ultimately 4-5 is always going to have to be a little bit reactionary. In that first game, they first picked the Sona while banning away. If I recall, if you switched it off that tab, but I'm pretty sure they banned the Leona. And then at that point, they were saying, Jacob, you don't actually have a pick that can punish the Sona. And to me, they were right because, Jacob's really great on Nami, really great on Lucian. His Braum has been excellent this season. But those, to me, are kind of like the 3 champs he's favoring. You ban away the Leona, you take the Sona, and then at that point, Jacob just defaulted to Braum, which is comfort, but that's not a good Braum spot, in my opinion. And it also got hard countered by the Udyr and by the Cassiopeia. So just really good drafting. Then you go to game 2. Meta Busters decides, hey, we're going to take blue side this time.
It does force out the Sona ban, which I think is pretty interesting.
Well, that was my question. To me, it felt like they took blue side because they were like, okay, well, we'll just first pick Sona now. because Jacob has actually also been really good on Sona. But AI just clocked that, said, okay, we'll just ban it. That's fine. They take the Unara plus the Milio into the. I mean, Jacob gets comfort on Nami. That's good, but you take Unara Milio, which is a really strong pairing. You pair the Caitlyn with the Nami. I think that's fine. You get Fusion on his Jarvan, which I liked, had a little bit more agency. Ornn, Echo, whatever. Set into Ornn is good. I really did not like the blind pick Ziggs at all. I think it pairs well with Jarvan, but to me, blind picking Ziggs in this spot with Omar on last pick is just so disrespectful, and it got absolutely smacked down. I mean, you banned Cassiopeia, but if you're going to pick Ziggs, you should have left Cassiopeia open and banned Akali. Like, he's really good at Akali and Cassiopeia, so I get banning it, but you kind of banned the one that you'd rather play against, and then you just gave him an insanely good Akali spot on on pick 5. And as you look at the post game, I mean, he played an amazing Akali game. Like, I was so impressed with Omar that series. Like, his Akali is absolutely terrifying, as you can probably guess by the fact that we banned it in our series against them. I mean, he is just a beast on that character, and it felt like to me they just gave him a dream spot for it, and he delivered. And that was really the series. It felt hard. As I said, I think you just matched up poorly into mid and 80 carry, which are Albert's strengths, and game 1, Vitus popped off. Game 2, Omar popped off, and the supporting cast was playing great both games, and it was kind of a disappointing way for Metabuster's season to end, because I do think they had looked so strong over the course of the regular season.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting. Like, I wonder if the Cassio ban maybe was not anticipating the Sylas ban, and maybe they were going to just grab the Sylas or something. There's a lot going on there. Also, I do wonder how much of the Corki ban being left open in favor of the Renekton ban is because Corrin had a really good performance on it in the first game, and that's a nod to that, or they just realized that the Corki probably isn't necessary with Future going back into the jungle. But
Probably
yeah,
that.
I don't know. I think it's
Corrin
definitely
is so good on the Renekton.
Corrin just still performed even through the counter pick. I do think it's really funny that Draco managed to have a 2-4-15 scoreline in both games. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How does that even happen? Like, but yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next series, QC versus NYNB. I think this one is the real shocker. I feel like most people felt like AI versus NYNB or AI versus MTB could go either way. This one, I feel like people had. I mean, we both predicted like 2-1 QC, but no one was predicting 2-0 NYNB except for NYNB themselves, probably. But
yeah, so I didn't cast this one, but I did watch it, the VOD the morning after. I saw the result and was just like, I was at my friend's house on the couch before football was starting, and I just pulled that up and watched that with like so much anticipation to see how they pulled it off. And to me, this series was just PB's like magnum opus. Like, he is the best support player in this server all time, has been amazing for season after season. To me, this series was just like him at his absolute best. He's just everywhere. He was helping out in the early game. He was finding insane engages. Truly just, I was so blown away by how well PB played. And that's not to take away from anyone else. I thought Mike had an insane series. I thought Blake had an insane series. Alex had an insane series. And Alana did great. But to me, it just felt like the fact that they were just blind picking Braum was just, it's comfort, and it's a strong champion, and it fit their team comps well, don't get me wrong. But it's not a champion that is like impossible to counter. And it felt like the blind pick Braum just allowed PB to play his Rakan with no danger of really getting punished in lane, at least in the first game, and then just absolutely just was all over the map. I mean, there was one point where I think in game 1, Rat would have had a really nice solo kill onto Alana, but then like the PB's just there, and he has heal, and he has a shield, and Alana lives on like 1 HP, and then Rat dies, and it just felt like he was on form. Their drafting was excellent. Like, Rat chose to go for the Syndra counter pick into Aurora, which I think makes sense. It's a really good matchup. I'd be happy to play the Syndra side of that, don't get me wrong. But what did that lead to? You're playing Syndra against Malphite, Jarvan, and Rakan. How do you play? Like, it was just impossible for him. He was getting dove on constantly. And at that point, like, if you put Rat behind, he's the person that sets up for Jakar in this comp, because what does Viego needs? Viego needs a reset. Who gives Viego the easy resets this game? It's the Syndra. But if Syndra's the first person getting gone on every fight, Syndra's not able to set up for Viego, so then Viego's team fight doesn't get to start the way you want it to, and it just felt like they just had so much trouble into what NYMB had drafted. And then you go to game 2, they did the adaptation of, hey, let's send Rat bot, put Kage onto support, put Paul mid. We've seen them, rotate their rosters around to great success throughout the season, and you did see a much better showing in the laning phase. I thought Rat was like bodying them in the laning phase. I mean, like, was really making it hard for Alex and PB. Thought Paul did fine into Alana in mid, but it's just like the Kane wasn't really able to get off the ground. And then as you got into the late game, again, it was just PB finding insane engages onto like a mobile carry of Ashe. And if it wasn't PB, it was Blake just popping Ghost, and just Rat couldn't play. Like, it didn't matter if Rat was playing well or not. He can't play the game because you have Garen running at him, you have Rakan running at him, you have Mike then on Viego. And to me, the difference here too was Mike's team was able to set him up in this comp in the way that Rat's or Jakar's team was not in the previous game. And then Mike just got to pop off in fights, and all the mayhem that the rest of the team's creating just meant that, like, QC could never even try to focus Alex. So Alex is just sitting there, like, untouched in the majority of these fights, just pumping DPS. NYB just played amazing. I thought they drafted amazing, and it's still a stunner. Like, I didn't think they couldn't win, but, like, just to do it in such dominating fashion, it was, I don't know. That's my reaction. I'm still a little bit blown away.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder how much of it is like the difference in prep. Like, I wonder if QC maybe wasn't prepping as hard for this series as they could have, and like didn't realize that the draft would go down this way. I mean, the Yunara is something that we'd seen come out, not in playoffs, obviously, because Alex wasn't able to play in playoffs, but the last series where we saw Alex play it against One Thief, obviously that was a little different, but we saw him just slam Yunara. They didn't really have a great answer to it. Dave's Twitch looked good into that last time, but I really didn't seem like they had a way to stop it. I don't know. I think is interesting. Obviously, they weren't throwing bans at the other champions, which I think is significant. But, I mean, I wonder if that's something that needs to be looked at going forward into finals, if Alex just needs to be denied that champion. They did the ban Malzahar and just allow the Aurora, but they weren't really able to fully punish it.
Can I say something on that? Can I please? Why are we banning Malzahar? QC does not need advice from me, and frankly, I probably shouldn't give them any advice. They don't need it. They're amazing. But, like, I do not understand why we're banning Malzahar. Alana is going to, I think Rat just doesn't like playing against the champion. But it's to the point where I think it's hurting them, because Alana is going to pick Aurora over Malzahar, as we have seen throughout the entire season. The only time, and maybe I don't think I'm wrong on this, the only time Alana has picked Malzahar has been if Aurora is not available. Like, I'm like pretty confident when saying that.
No, not true.
No, banned.
Into SKT, not banned.
Okay, well, that doesn't count to me. But
into Albert's
all
Inferno,
I'm saying is,
banned.
just loves the Aurora so much more than the Malzahar. And I frankly, I feel like in theory, Malzahar is this champion that, like, perma pushes you in. You can't. He's hard to punish. But, like, I feel like Alana has shown that they're, like, really difficult to punish on the Aurora, because maybe they're not going to dominate you in lane with the pick, but you can't, like, gank them very easily, because they always have the ability to just jump away with the W hop, and then in team fights they just throw down their AoE nuke, and you can't really focus them out because you have so much concern over what Blake and Mike are doing. And to me, it just feels like a wasted ban, especially when you consider the fact that, like, if they go Malzahar, Taxi gave you the formula on what to do. In the BB series, they banned the Aurora, made them pick Malzahar, and just made that champ look useless. To me, if I'm running it back, like if I'm QC and you make it back to finals and you're running it back, I don't think you need to ban necessarily either of them. But if you're gonna ban one of them, I just feel like you can do play around the Malzahar easier than the Aurora. But that's my personal takeaway. It feels like a wasted ban to me. You're allowing, in my opinion, the stronger players on that team to get champions. It just doesn't feel worth it to me to ban away the champion that Alana's not even favoring, especially after maybe game one. Maybe you do it game one, but then after game one, it's like, are we that concerned about it when they just picked Aurora and won? They'll probably play it again, but I don't know. That's my soapbox there. That's really the one thing I didn't like about their draft. I thought Mordekaiser made sense. Thought Tom Kinch made sense. Thought their second phase bans were great, but that just felt like the one really weird ban to me.
Okay, I will point out the elephant in the room for those who know Scrims Zone stats this season. But guys, we picked Kane. Do we know the Kane win rate this season? He has been played 15 times and he's lost 14 of them. Why?
That's insane. The champ is not that bad, guys. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I don't think.
He is the worst performing champion that has been picked more than 3 times.
You know, I think some of it
honorable mention to Draven and Fiora, who have both been picked 3 times and lost all 3 times. So we'll put that one out there. But
what can you compare that to Kane's stats like in previous seasons, or at least just like all time? Like, what's his win rate all time? Like, I know it's not that bad, and even close to that bad.
Hold on, I gotta mute real quick. Just talk.
I will. Yeah, so I guess my thoughts on maybe why Kane is struggling this season. Some of it, when it's like a 1-14, is just probably unfortunate situation. It performed well, wasn't able to close out the game, but I do think, like as a whole, a lot of teams have really prioritized having some early power, and Kane is definitely weaker than a lot of the junglers that have been getting picked until you get to like your form. So maybe teams have just been able to exploit the weakness in the early game to create enough of an advantage to where the Kane then, even when he does become strong, is playing from such a position kind of on the back foot already that they're not able to make up. Like the power level you gain once you hit form isn't enough to make up for what you've lost from the early game. Not entirely sure, but I didn't realize it was 1-14. That's pretty absurd. Definitely, that champ has performed a lot better in the past. I mean, there's a lot of great Kane players in the server. Drakar's obviously like an amazing Kane player. Apari is a really, really good Kane player. Mike's a great Kane player. Mason has a Kane. I mean, there's a lot of
Kane. We'll say that.
There's a lot of good Kane players in the server. So I don't know. What can you check it and see its all-time win rate? And there's no way it's even close to that bad.
Kane all time is 80 and 85, so 48% win rate.
Okay, so I mean,
still
and before this season, it was like significantly over 50.
That's true. That's true. It has been banned 237 times, so clearly someone's onto something. But going back to just this season, well, Kane is the obvious loser. Mordekaiser is 23-4, guys. This champ is a little stupid. And then Asol and Vex are both 5-1, so we don't have the fucking evil Asol aura that we had last season, where that champion was undefeated going into the late stage of playoffs. Corki 9-2, Zoe 8-2. Yuumi 4-1. Can we stop this, guys? Like, what the fuck is happening here? And then Zeri is the other standout to me at 15-4, 79% rate on that champion.
Definitely.
I clicked on the wrong one. I was going to shout out the Zeri players. Instead, I tried to shout out the Yuumi players. So taking that one back real quick, going to pull up Zeri. The biggest winners on Zeri are actually Hongbaba and Vitis, 4-2 and 4-1 on it, respectively. Will was 3-0. All 3 of those players eliminated. Everyone else who has a game on it only has 1. So we could see Rat or Evan pull it out in the next series, but definitely not as prolific players as the other ones that we were looking at. But yeah, I mean, I think we can just look at presence and we can filter it to team format since that's what we're talking about here. But Syndra is sitting at 70% presence and only has a 36% win rate. The champion's been super underperforming this season. There's been hella jokes, just of all time about Syndra being like the champion for scrims like mid laners. We could be seeing the end of it here. Obviously, like a lot of the really good mids play it. We even saw no one pick it up in the other series, but it just hasn't really been winning, which I think is really interesting. And it's still getting like its top presence. It is not the most picked champion. And I don't know. I don't know enough to know if she's just like bad
Um,
overall right now, but she's the only champion over 50% presence and she has
I
70.
think I think the champion is fine. I think, as you've said, it's kind of been like a top presence champion in the server for multiple seasons now, and I think teams have just gotten better about recognizing how to deal with it if you are going to allow it through. And I think just a perfect example was the game from QC and Nutbusters. I mean, you got a good matchup for Syndra in isolation, which is into Aurora, but you're playing into Rakan, you're playing into Jarvan, you're playing into Malphite. Like,
True.
if you don't pick tools to deal with Syndra correctly, the champion can pop off on you easily, in my opinion. If you pick one tool to deal with it, it can still outplay you if the player piloting it is very competent. But when you're facing down all of that engage, all of that dive, like, it's just so hard. So I think teams have just gotten better at, counterpicking it, counterpicking it not only individually in lane but also in team, and I think that's kind of in part why it has been struggling more.
And I will go down our other high prio champs. I'll just do the cutoff at okay, I feel like Udyr and below we can kind of ignore, but Hui's been a big one. That pick is 10-5, performing very well. Flex
Yeah.
pick, pretty solid. Looking over at Amumu, that champion's 8-7. Really genuinely curious, actually. I'm going to duplicate this page. How many of those wins are Spiral? 7. Everyone else is 1-4 on the pick. Spiral is
That's
7 and
crazy.
3. So just gonna put that out
Crazy.
there. Kane 1-4 in team format, not very good. Mordekaiser's 10-3 in team format, where I believe he was like 22-4 overall. So kind of even there. A little worse in team format, although I do believe Brian is like half the losses, and I think both of them were in team format. So I don't know. That might be a little bit false. Mordekaiser might just be unbeatable. Aurora 10-8. I think most of those picks are Alana, but you definitely have some in there also. And then up at the top, Smolder and Silas are freaking gross. We have 13-4 Smolder, 12-5 Silas, both to look out for. Echo's actually been 5-6, but I think out of the teams remaining, if any of the players that are going to play Echo on those teams get it, I think it's a pick to look out for. Gonna skip over Viego and come back. Braum, I think, has been a generally good pick, but we did see NYMB punish it pretty successfully. So I think the kind of blind Braum has been played out a little bit, which does leave us with Yunara and Ornn, which I feel like are two pretty blindable champions. Ornn hasn't
Yeah.
necessarily been winning a crazy amount, but does have one of the highest pick rates in the server, if not the highest pick rate with 23, and it barely gets banned out. Whereas Yunara, I feel like just kind of amplifies ADC's ability to outplay. Which is why it is so much. But going down to Viego, this is another one of the high presence champions that most of the presence is bans. Echo's the other one that really sticks out to me. Syndra has an even worse ratio. But yeah, Viego, typically, if the player gets it, they pop off. This champion has a 6 KDA. Pretty much anything else that has above that in team format was not picked very much. There's like, yeah, I mean, it's literally like 3 games or less beats that. Sona and Talia are the other champs that are comparable there. Sona's a support that positions pretty safely, and Talia, again, range champion compared to Viego. The fact that a melee champion has that KDA is absolutely filthy. So I think that is going to be a pick to
Yeah.
watch. I think that's going to be bigger news if we get to see the Drakkar Mike rematch in finals. I think if Rift Sharks ends up making it, I am not sure Spiral or Carrot have that in their bag. Sorry for leaks, but definitely changes it up a little bit. But I don't know. I think this is definitely a very different style that we've seen. I know I kind of got dogged on early in the season by saying the picks that we've seen this season are really exciting when Smolder's up there, but I definitely was talking more about some of the other picks that we're seeing here, and the fact that Silas, Echo, Viego, and Unara have stayed such high presence, I think has been really exciting. Mordekaiser, I mean, as someone who is responsible for some of these games, he's not fun to watch. So, but I mean, better than Ornn, I guess. So,
To me, I feel like Mordekaiser has been. I mean, the win rate's pretty crazy. Has been performing
yeah,
really well. To me, I think a lot of it's been picked in good spots, and people have not picked like the true counter picks to it. Like it keeps playing into Renekton, which is like a counter pick, but
it's
like it's not
Mordekaiser
really a
wins that
counter. I
matchup
don't
more of
think
the
it's really
time.
a counter pick. Like it kind of is. It can beat it, but like to me, the true Mordekaiser counter picks are just things that don't really get played a ton in Scrim Zone, or at least haven't yet.
Yeah, we
Um,
did see the Olaf hover yesterday, but
yeah,
I
actually,
am going to
I
run
think
through and
yeah.
look at what we've seen played against it in team format. Um, just worth noting, Blake and I combined our 7-0 on this champion.
Mm.
So it's probably just going to be permabanned for the rest of the the season. So maybe this will be completely irrelevant. But we saw Aatrox, we saw Karma, we saw Scion. That actually beat it. That was Korn into Nishan.
I think Twitch and Nocturne beat it respectfully.
That's okay. I just meant it was in a game where the
No, I know.
Mordekaiser
I'm just
lost.
saying. I'm just
Um,
saying.
we saw Nar. We saw. Okay, that's a jungle game. That doesn't. That's not the same. We saw Kale. We saw Doctor Mundo, and we did see Scott Pilgrim's Olaf, which did beat it.
Yeah, like
And
that's an
then
example of a strong counter pick into the champion, in my opinion. But
and then
every
we
other
saw
one is
Urgot
not that good
also
of a
beat it.
matchup. Okay, yeah, Urgot, I don't hate that either.
Yeah.
But like the Scion, like that won, but that's not a good matchup for Mordekaiser or for Scion, excuse me. Karma, no. Like a lot of the picks, it's just been in a good spot.
Yeah,
I think
Boppo going for the
Kale,
Kale, I did like the fact that game was kind
yeah.
of a why are we picking set jungle and archived on his best champion just did not have a good performance unluckily,
Yeah.
which
I just feel like you want
yeah,
champs that are like really kind of feast or famine, things like the Olaf, things like a Riven, a Fiora, like these aggressive champs that don't normally get played, and I think that's partly why it has seen such a successful win rate. But yeah. And we've seen the Renekton's do good in lane, but it just kind of feels like the Renekton's get continuously outscaled by it.
yep. I mean, as you can see, I learned the matchup from game to game. Will not say I had a great scoreline versus Brian, but I don't know. That guy's good. He gave me a run for it last series for sure. But anyway, I feel like that's probably enough of the series and stuff. I think we can hop in to Baked or Based and kind of
We didn't say anything about
go
our
through
series.
everything. That's true. Do you want to talk about it?
Briefly.
I think just go watch it, to be honest. But
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine.
no. We can talk about it. I mean, I think it was close. I think both Hongbaba and Vitis played really good games. I think they made it super difficult for
Yes.
us. Top lane was super close both games. Brian completely stopped me from getting any sort of meaningful lead in either games. I think we were just kind of reliant on my ultimate to have impact in both, more so in the first game. I feel like Albert just ended up getting caught out a lot this series, which honestly I feel like was the biggest factor for me. I feel like there were a lot of kind of neutral states where AI either like had a lead or they were even, and then we just do a good job of having vision. Albert would go for something that he thinks is safe because he has Echo Alt, and we do a good job collapsing and catching him
Yeah.
out. You absolutely showed up this series. I think you had, 2 deaths across the whole series. Kind of gross. Omar played a really, really good first game. So did Hongbaba. Made it borderline impossible to win. We ended up just winning, I feel like, off drags. It just created a lot
Yeah.
of pressure around the objectives. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. These were super close games. I don't feel like it was really like a complete wipe either time. The second game was a little less close, but I think the Huawei denial in the second game was a really big factor there. Omar was pretty much untouchable on that pick, and when he swaps over to the
Yeah.
Ari, I think it definitely falls off a little bit. That was really good draft prep from Alberts, though, when we were trying to figure out what to do, we were like, this is probably what they're going to do. And we just didn't really have many good answers into it. I think there's a lot of windows where if you have Syndra, White, Mordekaiser on a team, you can get punished really hard for it. I mean, we saw Brian rush the Maw of Memortius in the second game, made him really hard to kill. I mean, I got damn lucky to kill him for my one kill of the game. But I don't know. I mean, they played really well. The games are way closer than you would look if you just see 2-0 and you look at the score lines.
Yeah, I watched it back, and I mean, Mason and the other casters at a certain point were kind of like getting bored in a sense, just because it was a very slow game state, really both games. But to me, the games felt so intense from start to finish. Like it felt like it was on a knife's edge, and I think in a large part due to the fact of just like how freaking good Hong Baba and Vitus, I believe,
I
both
heard Vitus.
played.
It's
Like,
one of the
or
two.
Vitus, or I don't recall. I'm sorry. Well, either way, they both played so amazing. Like it was kind of insane how you sub out Hong Baba, who just like played, in my opinion, like an amazingly good game. Vitus, thank you. And then you sub in Vitus or Snark, and it's just like the performance is just it's just also insane. And I'll also say, so like I'm not Faker, I'm not like panning my camera around the map constantly. So there was like a time or two in both games where my bot lane died in kind of 2v2, and I'm not gonna lie, in the game I'm like, how did we just die right here? Like what did we do wrong? Like how did we mess up? And then I'm watching the cast back. Holy shit, like Hong and Vitus were just like smurfing on them at an absurd level to the point where I'm like, all right, guys, I'm sorry I was even like critical of that death. Like what are you supposed to do if Hong's gonna fucking hit every Jinx W and run you down in the mid lane? And if Vitus is gonna just flash forward on you when his Lulu's still level 5 and just absolutely pop off, like at a certain point, you just got to like tip your hat when players are playing that well. And to me, it just felt like both of them just played absurdly well, which made the games insanely intense and insanely close. Because whenever your AD carry is playing that well, if we mess up a single engage, a single team fight, they can just wipe us and destroy the game. So I don't know. I thought the games were super close. I thought both teams played really well. I thought Alberts drafted fine. I will say, like, I'm a little surprised that we ended up blind picking Malphite when Silas is still open. That just, not sure if that was just kind of like, it just slipped the mind, or, I mean, the game was still really close even with that, but to me, I thought that made Hong's life a little bit too hard to play. Like, I think Hong could have survived had he just been against the Diana engage, but when you add on the Malphite on top, that felt a little too difficult to play. And then for game 2, I like the adaptation of going the AP Echo over the AD Echo, as well as picking the Ahri, because Omar's been really good on Ahri. But they did not do enough, in my opinion, like early aggression-wise on the map, mid-jungle. And so even while Snark was farmed up, playing extremely well with the Lulu, I felt like they didn't push whatever sort of advantage they would have had in the mid-game with the Ahri, with the Echo, and it kind of allowed the Syndra, the Mordekaiser, and the Senna to all kind of scale to a point where the game was fine. But overall, I thought they played great. It was great stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It was great going up against Omar. I thought he played amazing. I mean, he did not die on the way until like the game was over. I mean, like he was just so, like, that pick into the Vlad was doing work. It was making everyone on our team's life so hard. He's so good on that champion. I do like the idea of going for more of the aggression with the Ahri, but it just felt like him and Albert weren't able to really sync up on when they wanted to go aggressive. In large part too, because I think I was positioning pretty well to the point where it would be like kind of risky either way. But I do think at a certain point, Omar did kind of just need to send it on me. Like if it doesn't work, your game is kind of screwed. But if you don't do it either way, the game's also kind of screwed, especially when you go for like electrocuting Knight. So I would have liked to see a little bit more aggression, because we saw him do the exact same thing when he played Ahri into Taxi Syndra earlier this year and absolutely took over a game. But it's just hard to, when Albert was kind of struggling. As you said, Blind Spiral, I thought, did a great job of putting up vision and marking Albert a lot, made it hard for the Echo to ever get his game going. And yeah, ultimately the game kind of played out how it did. But Alberts is great. I hope they stick together. I hope we get to see more of them next season. And I'll just say it right now. It's kind of crazy to be like, I feel like Hong and Snark are like the two best AD carries, and they're on the same team. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy how you could just slot both. In my opinion, I think they're the two best AD carries, and they're on the same team. So maybe you split that up a little bit so we can see both of them more. But just good stuff overall. And yeah, we can leave it there unless you have something else.
No, no. I kind of feel the same way about Jakar and Hero. I want to see that get split up too. I think the team formation is going to be really fun. If y'all like pull in all your friends and we get more people in the server, maybe we can have 10 teams. Fuck it. Would be fun. That would make casting a nightmare, but I don't care. Just do it. Anyone you know who'd be interested, please send an invite over. But we'll kick it over to based or baked or based. I can't even.
Baked of based.
I don't know, man. I'm tired. But anyway, let me get that pulled up real quick. I'm sure we have some takes. Hopefully we have something similar to 20 minutes of takes, because that's about how much time I want to spend. If we have a crazy amount, maybe we could hit some more later in the week. And if we're down a lot, then hey, maybe we can do a short podcast. We've been doing some long ones recently, so would work out. But anyway, it's going to take a little bit to load up. I hope I saved it the right way this time instead of needing to go through and delete everything. Oh, God bless. I made my life so much easier by doing the right thing. Okay. We have baked and we have based. And let's hope we have takes. We have 31, so maybe we won't get through all these, but that's okay.
Speed run them.
Okay, deleting this one. Okay, this one is a take that I saw when I looked the other day. This is not really a take because everyone agrees with this. I understand that games need to get played, but having teams lose because they can't run their best rosters doesn't seem indicative of how good the teams actually are. No shit.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Genius
True.
thing to figure out. I'm just not even going to leave this one on here. Everyone knows this. It sucks that we can't have that. The alternative is that the finals or something don't get played because we've delayed the season too much trying to find the way for things to get scheduled. If you don't know how things get scheduled, both teams provide availability where they can run any roster. They also tell me which days they prefer to play where they have their main roster. Sometimes it doesn't line up and we just have to make a call. Shit happens. Things get even worse when players know when a series is ahead of time and don't show up for it. That stuff is not on the organizers at all. That does come down to the individual players. That really sucks because everyone else has done everything they can to have that happen. And it really sucks for the teams that lose. And I mean, it's not really fun for the teams that win either. That's not how teams like to win. Everyone would like to get to play the strongest rosters. But yeah, I mean, again, I've said this so many times this season, but we aren't pros. There are limitations to what we can do, so we're not able to just be available all the time, and things are going to happen. But we do try our best to work things out. But I mean, we just don't want to end up in a situation where we need to cancel a more important series because we've run out of time to play this season. Okay. Next take. Would rather wait a couple weeks for teams to play with their main roster than have people run off rosters. Same thing. We can wait a couple seasons, play the first round, and then not have finals. Like, do you want to not have finals? There we go. I agree with you. It sucks. We can only do so much about it. Okay. New 1T roster, and they send an image link. So I'm just going to say new 1T roster, and I don't even know what the best way to do this is. I think it's really funny that we had the same take twice going forward. Okay, let me see what this roster is. Okay, it is. Is this the roster y'all scrimmed with the other day? Bean, Daniel, Gruer, Jonas, Arvarez? Or is that just like a random norm stack they all had?
That's a norm stack. I think
Okay.
we were playing just norms.
Well, let me pull this up and see if it's like legitimate. So we're saying on 1T, and the roster is. What lane assignments were y'all doing? I'm assuming that's Daniel top,
I don't remember. I think so
Jonah
though.
jungle, Sarv ADC will say Gruer mid and then Bean. Hey, that's almost legal. Could happen. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean,
It
obviously,
happened.
points are going to be wherever they are next season, so this is not necessarily indicative of anything. But hey, could happen. I mean, we can just say base. I feel like that's kind of cool.
It was a fun norm stack. It was a based fun norm stack.
Okay, base. Um, okay. Anyway, back to everything else. Okay. Um, okay. Someone is looking way too closely on the stream. The crusty abandoned socks located under Dean's bed are desperately gasping for help. I'm gonna say baked.
Is it based? Oh,
It is baked because I swear to you, the longest socks I've ever been there is 2 days. I mean, that's longer than it should be, so I'm admitting fault there. But no, they're fine. I do clean under my bed too, so it's like. Okay, next take, actual first real
let's get
take.
an actual take. Yes, please.
QC falling off, baked or based? Is it that
Baked.
NYNB leveled up, or do you think
I think it might be
QC's
leveled up
depleting?
hard.
Okay.
I think it's baked.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about that series in depth. Okay. NYNB wins season with the most ease imaginable. So I assume that would mean that it doesn't go to 5 games. So I'm going to say this is baked because I think the finals are going to go to
Baked.
5 games. I don't care who
Baked.
makes it there.
Yeah.
It should be a banger.
Finals will
I
be
do gotta
close.
check this real quick. Sorry for the delay here. Okay. Next one. QC is egoing comfort picks of other teams too much, costing them select games.
Uh,
Which I think is interesting. I do want to pull up my stats to see how much this actually happens.
Nothing's jumping out to mind for me.
I don't know if this is like a recent thing or like an overall thing. Okay, let me just check QC games. I feel like Viego is a comfort pick for Drakkar anyway.
Yeah, that's
They
not a steal away. He's
they
good at that
did
champ.
pick Caitlyn away from NYNB, but I don't think they first picked Caitlyn. They first picked Viego.
I think they picked Caitlyn into Unara, I
Right. So I
thought.
don't think that counts, and I don't think in the second game any of these apply. I don't
I
think the
mean, unless
Braum
they're
is a
like
valid
trying to
steal
steal
away.
Braum from PB, but
I
Paul
don't
M
think
has also just
so.
had good Braum games, so I don't
Yeah.
really take it that way either.
This series, I don't see any of that. Um,
I think we're getting rage baited by a Blake take.
I don't. This doesn't read like a Blake take. I just don't think this happens. Maybe this happens in scrims, but it doesn't happen on stage. And I'm not a
Yeah, I
scrim
don't I
leaker, so
don't
I'm
take
not
that as
gonna.
their I don't take
Yeah,
that. I don't see that at all.
I'm gonna say
I think
baked.
they actually just have really wide champion pools. I think they just played what they think's good in the spot.
Okay, this one I'm just gonna go ahead and say base. New. Okay, but you can't spell, but that's okay. New Bridgewater brawl format needed. Parentheses. Fearless lost the sauce. I am not going to promise anything, but I think more than likely we will test out a new format just to kind of see things out. Again, we are kind of limited by the fact that DraftLaw has kind of bricked our opportunities to use its former customization stuff. If I am so motivated, maybe I will actually get Scrim Zone Draft Tool going. This is a 10% chance. Do not take this as any sort of promise. This is probably not happening, but eventually I will probably want to just have all the customization options that it had on our own stuff so that we can manage it, because they had a lot of cool stuff that we could have done as I had proposed with the Summer League. But yeah, we'll probably see something new in Bilgewater. Again, no
Sure.
promises here, but for Frostbite, I genuinely did really enjoy that full, like, someone had the take where it's like Fearless but it's the whole season. Doing something like that in Frostbite could be fun, where it's a bunch of blind pick games. And because it's a charity tournament, we could do something like if you repeat a champion, you have to donate $5. So if you want to just play the same champions over again, you can, and then it goes to charity. Like, who cares?
Like a tax their ass.
Right.
I like that. That's
Right. I
funny.
mean, I think something like that could be fun. So I'll need something else for Bilgewater. Honestly, we could even like have like a podcast episode where we just have a bunch of people fire off Bilgewater formats. But yeah, no, based. I think that's fun. New formats are always cool. I think we'll probably keep something similar to the bracket that we've been doing, but I know a lot of people get frustrated about it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll just rework the entire thing. Who knows?
All right, based though.
Yes. Okay. Snow is the real MVP. I assume this is submitted because they lost without him.
They did look pretty. I mean, it's no doubt that I think Snow is the MVP of that team.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Snow could have won MVP in my book. That'd been fine, but
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, look how well Gruer played for us. If you
Yeah.
did not play that well yesterday, do we win? I don't know.
probably not.
I'll say base
I don't
though.
know.
I like shouting out players.
I do like. It's been amazing. I was like heartbroken when I realized that I was casting that and Snow wasn't going to get to play. But on to next season, he'll play great, I'm sure.
Okay,
Hopefully
this
he
one I guess
stays
is
around.
exclusively up to you to determine, but it says Gruer and Mason baked or based would feed families.
If you accept the fact that you're not here to like lead the discussion, it could be interesting.
That was such
Baked
a
or based?
non-committal. That was like a half unenthusiastic based.
Maybe a TriCast Baker based would go hard at some point.
So where do I put this?
It's based though. I mean, yeah, that would be fire. It's based. It's based.
I do object that it says feed families. The most AdSense we've ever gotten from one of these is probably like 5 cents.
That's because you're always in them.
So true. Okay. Alex is okay. Again, whoever is submitting these takes can't spell, but that's okay. Alex is single-handedly the most robbed player in Scrims history.
They mean like individual awards or
Maybe
just like respect.
I'm
I'm not sure exactly what they're going for.
I don't think there's enough of a take here. I think we just skip this one.
Yes, I'm not sure.
Submit it again.
Resubmit
If
with
you're
more
watching this,
information.
resubmit. Just do a parenthetical where you explain your take, and we can just cut it out. I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm not agreeing with it. I just don't know. Okay. While Teddy has had a consistently good career, ADC lacks a definitive Scrim Zone GOAT, unlike other roles.
Ooh.
So what's the obvious and every other role? It's you for mid.
PB.
Definitely PB also. Sam and Sam S have both challenged it, but I don't think they have longevity. Jungle's Mason, but Mason's been like outshone by a few other people. Like, I think there's good arguments for a couple other players there.
I feel like Jungle is there's some recency bias. If you take the longevity into effect, for right now, it's 100% based.
Right.
So I think
I just mean
so.
like Rex seasons are.
Oh, yeah. There's also a lot of. I've also not been here, but for
Right.
half this, I didn't show up till season 6, so I don't know.
Right. I mean, I do
how
think
all
it's different because it's like I think if you take the best mid laner from other seasons and compare it against you, I think you beat them. Whereas I feel like if you look at like goats and other roles, I'm actually just gonna pull up the Discord real quick and scroll through the Hall of Fame and see what is there. So for season 1, first team was Peter, Mason, Stanley, Hongbaba, Jacob. Season 2, Silico, Eric O. Mason wasn't really playing this season, just to caveat there. So Silico, Eric O, Cam, Will, Michaela, or Mimi. Third season, Peter, Joey, Cam, Hongbaba, Eric O. So this is, again, Hong didn't play in season 2 either. So that's, Hong is undefeated in first teams right now. Don't think that's true for any other role. Then we have Blake. Okay, Peter was done. So Peter just kind of won 2 seasons except for the season where he wasn't up there. Then Mason, then Valor, then Dean, then Kathy. Then we have Blake, Cam, Taxi, Dean, PB. So PB actually did get it his first season. Avery, Caesarius, Gruer, Sarverus, PB. So just Spectres plus PB. Then we have Arnie, Julian, Gruer, Stav, Fuger. Julian getting it over Mason this time. Caesarius also got it over Mason. Cam and Mike got it over. Actually, Mason wasn't really playing season 5.
PB didn't have a very good season 7 because he didn't even, because Dad got and Fuger both got it over him.
Fuger,
he was
Dad
kind of on
got
that not so good Andromeda roster though.
Yeah, and then Avery, Fuger, Tusini, Stav, PB. Lispy Jar, Gruer, Hung Baba, PB. Scott Pilgrim's Rat, Drakkar, Rat, Hung Baba, PB. I mean, the fact that Hong has gotten it so many times, I feel like all the seasons where he hasn't had it are just seasons where he hasn't really been playing. Like Hong got a Flex Player award in season 5. Didn't get anything in season 6, but I think he was like a sub for a team. Same with season 7. And he got 6th player in season 8 because he wasn't able to play enough games. I don't think ADC is the one that lacks a GOAT. I think you could say top very easily doesn't have one. And jungle is being challenged, but the other ones I think have a definitive one. I don't know.
I'll defer to you on that. Yeah, I think Teddy is right now. With that, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think top's probably the one that's probably the hardest.
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. Blake looks really good when Blake's on good teams. But when Blake is not on a good team to set him up, I think generally he doesn't get much praise there, and he has been beaten by a lot of different players. When Teddy's actually playing ADC consistently, he's pretty much gotten it every time. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I do think it's Blake. Like, I think if there is a top laner, it is Blake. I will say that. Like, I do agree that if you were picking someone, but like, I don't know. It's hard when you try to balance longevity because at the same time, like to me, I think Avery's been insane. Like Avery's won 2 seasons, had a Darius pick that's damn near unbeatable. Like that guy at peak is like just as good as anybody. So
yeah, actually we have the accolades on the website. So let me pull up. There are like 3 people that I would consider that have any sort of longevity. Peter has 2 titles. Blake has 1 title and an MVP, and Avery has 2 titles and a 2nd place. Avery also has 2 first-team tops. Blake has 2 first-team tops. Peter has 2 first-team tops.
Yeah, Avery did win a finals, get 2nd, and win another. That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I still need to enter in. How many MVPs did you have before this season? 3? Is this your 4th?
No, this was the 3rd one. Okay, I didn't get it.
So it is
Starburst got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just forgot if I had put all those in. Yes, because you have 4 best teammates. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so I don't know. I think ADC is not the role to question. I think Teddy does get that one.
Shout out Stav. Yeah. I'll say that.
Okay, Vitus is the best ADC in the league, question mark.
I mean, I gave my take like 10 minutes ago that I think Vitus and Hong are like right there.
I mean,
Vitus
personally,
has been very impressive to me.
It felt harder to win the first game than it did the second game yesterday, but I don't think that had much to do with ADC, so I'll just say base.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, based, let's see it. Yeah. I want to see Vitus starting on a roster next season playing damn near every game. I want to see it.
Okay, we have a non-scrim zone take. Antarctica doesn't exist, and the CIA will not let us near the ice wall. I think you're baked. Lay off the
drugs. Baked.
Funny though. I chuckled.
Good try.
Next season, we'll completely rearrange the power rankings. Based, sure.
The power rankings get rearranged every season, yeah.
It's kind of a nothing take, but maybe this is more SKT praise, so I'll take it.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh my god, wait, this is the whole thing that you just said. Yes, okay. QC permabanning Mal's against NYMV is a waste of a ban. If Aurora is left open and a bad look for Rat when you consider how Taxi showed you can destroy the Mals, deleting all of
Yeah,
that.
I
And
submitted this, by the
yes.
way. I just got bored and said it earlier, but this was my take. So yeah, I've
Okay.
explained it. It's base to me.
Yes. Garen is a disgusting champ piloted by disgusting, horrible people in game. Yeah, agreed. Based as fuck. Fuck
Based.
that
Base as
champion.
fuck.
There's a reason I banned it. I just do not need brain rot in my game. Uh,
Base.
the only win NYNB will get in grand finals is the one they start with for free.
Ooh.
That means either QC or Rift Sharks is 3-0ing them if they make it there, which has happened
Ooh.
before. I don't know. I don't think that's true.
I
I
think it's
predicted
baked,
last
but
time the NYNB win season with most eases imaginable. I said I think it's going to 5. I still think it's going to 5. I think either of these extreme takes are just not correct. I think the 3 teams left are at a very high level, and I think we will see some high level gameplay. Okay, season 10 NYNB beats season 5 NYNB Mike time chamber gap. I think the implication is that the
uh,
downgrade from Taxi to Alana does not outweigh the improvements that the other players have made individually.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
we saw Taxi into Alana though. If we
Yeah,
hadn't,
we
then I would
did.
agree.
We did. We
we
did. We
we
did. We
saw what
did.
happened.
We
Sorry,
did.
this one's baked.
Baked.
They
Sorry,
have
baked. Baked.
improved,
Baked.
but
Baked.
oh my goodness.
Baked.
Okay. Noam Jungle would have worked for Meta Busters if they kept with it. I'm gonna say this one's based. Noam Jungle won a season. I
I
don't think
actually think
Noam
base two. I don't know why
wanted to
Noam
do it,
completely abandoned jungle.
but
Like, Noam is not a bad jungler. Like, he
I just
he
don't think
doesn't
he
want to play the
enjoys it.
role, so I respect that.
Yeah.
Like, we're playing to have fun. Don't play what you don't want to play. But I do think that team could have worked. He's good at jungle. Snow's good at AD carry. It could have. It could have. I don't know if it would have peaked. I thought their probably what they were running was their best look, but definitely could have done well. So yeah, based.
Okay. This one is a banger. QC will split into 2 teams next season. One will be top 2, the other bottom 2.
Ooh.
There's a lot going on here.
Uh,
I think QC will probably split up into more than just 2 teams, and I think they will probably intermingle with other players. Fingers crossed. Like, come
yeah, I
on.
hope so.
We've
I
been
hope
here. I
so.
think most of the time, new team shows up and then they go hang out with other people. I think generally, especially if you don't end up getting a win, I think it's pretty easy to be talked into a roster that looks really good. So I don't think they're going to split into 2 teams. If they do, I don't even think one's going to be top 2, the other bottom 2. There's a lot of good players on that team, and in that kind of group of people. I think there's enough talent there that they're not going to end up bottom 2.
Yeah, that's baked. That's
Especially
baked.
if they're splitting into 2 teams, it probably means we're going to have more teams overall in the server, which means getting bottom 2 is going to be even harder.
I think that's a baked take, but I do kind of agree with your sentiment. I hope they don't just like split into basically QCA, QCB. I hope you actually see quite a bit of branching off. Every player from that group that I've gotten the opportunity to play with has been so fun to play with, so chill, just a great time. So I hope we see a ton of intermingling, and like every team looks different. I would love that if they broke into groups of 2, groups of 3, and kind of just added a lot of the mainstay players. I think it could be really fun. But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
mean, if you look
anybody they
around
won't be bottom 2.
if you look around the league, they've kind of planted seeds on a bunch of different teams. Like you have Chris on our team, you have Vitas on Inferno, you have Snow
Yeah,
on
that's because they have 10 people
Metabusters.
on their main and they ran
Right.
out of spots.
Yeah, I just I feel like those players definitely have the pull to get some players from QC like onto their team. So I think in an ideal
Yeah.
world, QC starts signing some people that are like kind of longtime scrim veterans, and then you see like a few teams with like a couple people interspersed, and it's no longer the QC group anymore. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I can
The more
dream, I
mixing,
guess.
the more mingling, the better.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Power of friendship is greater than Scrim's power rankings. Noam, I need you to fact check this. Please tell me Noam's been in the Twitch chat. Power rank
Yeah.
by elimination order and see if we were right now. So put like NYMB first, QC second, Rift Sharks third, Inferno fourth, and then and Metabusters and BB in fifth, sixth, and see how close people were. I want to know. But yeah, I mean, if the sentiment here is not that the power rankings are wrong and team synergy matters, which is the one way to read it. And it's just being nice to people is better than power ranking someone in eighth. I mean, I agree with that, but
Yeah, I will say I think QC has the power of friendship on their side, but the one team that gaps them in power of friendship is NYMB.
that's true.
When you consider the run back from them. So maybe power of friendship is the move, but
Okay. Ooh, hater take. This is the lowest quality postseason we've had since franchising started, if not before. Let me take you on a wonderful journey through Scrim Zone history here, because that's what we want if we're pulling this up, because you're wrong. You're wrong, by the way. I'm sorry. Uh so
it has definitely been less entertaining than some
yeah.
of the
So
playoffs that I've been a part of.
I agree. It is worse than some, but we take it back to season 4. We said if not before. This one is the one that I look back on. This one was peak. We unfortunately did have an FF in playoffs, which does suck, but they got gapped. They were done. They quit. Kathy's had already been coming off a huge miracle run. They were in like dead last. They were in 6th place. They hit the fucking gas. They won every game they needed to. Other teams lost. They qualify in 4th. And then they end up making it into 3rd. Unfortunately, they didn't get to play Mima's Kittens. They would have beaten them. We know this. This is not a debatable fact. Anyway, 2nd place team Silicats upsets KGS in winners finals. KGS goes to the bottom bracket and doesn't drop a game for the rest of the season. Banger playoffs.
Pretty
We
hype,
go
yeah. Sounds good.
to season 5. This one was a double elimination playoffs. If you look at the bracket, it does not look like a double elimination playoffs. That is because so many series were FF'd or delayed that we had to scrap it and go to single elimination. This one is the worst since franchising started. This is the worst playoffs we have had ever. There was an FF out of the 4 teams. This was supposed to be double elimination.
Yeah.
Andromeda FF'd both. They were like, we're not even playing. And Spectres, Spectres was supposed to be here. They couldn't because he got hit by a tornado. So
Yeah.
Rift Sharks is able to take a game off of NYB and ends up getting 3rd place in the season by proxy because Andromeda had to FF. Rift Sharks shouldn't have even made it to playoffs. They were the 5th place team.
Yeah.
This is horseshit. This is the worst. Now the question becomes, is this the best playoff since then? I don't know. We can kind of move on to it. We did have a cool upset with MVP over NYNB, but at the same time, everyone was tilted. Taxi literally got hit by a car. Like, this was a disaster. Moving on to season 6.
Yeah.
We have literally 4 teams. Rift Sharks
Spectres just wasn't losing that season.
Rift Sharks
There was
upset
nothing really to say.
Metabusters 2-0. Some people say that Metabusters had a huge advantage in regular season because of the shenanigans they were doing with their team. Who cares? This was a boring ass playoffs. People going in, I feel like kind of knew Rift Sharks was going to win and that they weren't going to beat Spectres. Nothing happened. This was a nothing playoffs. Not exciting, solid, but it's 6 games total. Moving on to season 7. This one was a banger. We have a full best of 3 between Metabusters and MVP, and then Andromeda sweeps Metabusters, but then they come back with a vengeance. They knock MVP the fuck out. They had only 2-1 them before. They fully 2-0 them. Rift Sharks, I think, ended up winning the tie over MVP, but then got knocked out by him in finals. This MVP roster was, this was the Evan and Psycho Carrot MVP roster with PB top. This was really fun. The fact that they were able to get a series win was really cool. A lot of people were wondering about how the matchups went. Season 7 was really good. I'm going to give a nod there.
That finals was a banger.
Yes, that was fantastic. I did dream about that. Go on to season 8. This one, we had a 5-team season in season 8 is crazy. I feel like a lot of people thought the server was just going to die, but it didn't, which is nice. But anyway, we have the playing game. Fruitcakes is actually, I think, again, this one is just proceeded as planned. The most interesting thing that happened in this playoffs is that 101 Thieves took a game off of Metabusters in semis. Do you remember what happened in that game?
This was the season I kind of stepped away. I
Did
don't
you
exactly
watch though?
remember. No, I don't remember.
Okay. Anyway, 1-1T taking a game off Metabusters was the most exciting thing that happened here because again, like RS 2-0, but there's no chance we're touching Metabusters. We just got 3-0 in finals. It was boring.
Yeah.
Moving on to season 9, this one was a really fucking good playoffs. This one is
Banger.
basically as good as season 7. We
This is
have
peak.
we have the Andromeda bomb out where they look good and then they barely lose to Fruitcakes and then they just completely bomb against Metabusters. BB
Hmm.
had a good run against 101T, but then Metabusters beats them and then Metabusters takes out Fruitcakes also after Rift Sharks smacks them 2-0. After it looks like Rift Sharks was not really, because I believe that's the team we lost to in the regular season. Yes. So we weren't really predicted to win that. We end up coming back, beating them 2-0. Then it's a really, really good finals. So season 9 was really good. Season 7 was really
And that
good.
was Metabusters
6 and
running
8.
from sixth place to finals and being up in the finals
Yes.
or tying the finals.
Yeah. And then we go to this season where, I mean, you can say roster this, roster that, but it's kind of a similar template. Like, sure, you can say BB like bombs out and they don't get their roster, like that sucks, but this is still very
Yeah.
interesting because we've had upsets. We had a kind of contested matchup between Inferno and Metabusters, and I don't think either team was running the roster they really wanted to, so there's still some element of surprise there. And I think the NYMB 2-0 over QC is kind of exciting enough on its own. Like, that's really
Yeah.
interesting. And then Rift Sharks
Yeah.
2-0ing Inferno, I think, has stocks. Like, if you want to say like the first round was boring, sure, but NYMB and BB were both on off rosters, and same with Inferno versus Metabusters. So I don't think either of those two series are as fraudulent as people want them to be. Obviously, the BBRS one, you can just toss out the window. Like, that one was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had a lot of good series here. And these two, like, we would literally have to have the most boring results possible, but I don't know what the boring result is. If NYNB 2-0s QC when they get back into finals, then it's a team that was not expected to win winning. Or if QC shows up and then 3-0s NYNB, then it's a team winning from the losers bracket. So I think we're kind of guaranteed a good rest of the season. And if Rift Sharks makes it to finals, that's exciting because we came from 6th again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's
I
like you're
think
kind of
there is some
guaranteed something
criticism,
interesting to happen.
the
But
2-0s constantly is a little bit unfortunate, but
I
I think,
agree.
as Snow has said in the chat right now, great comment. If you actually pay attention to the quality of the games themselves, I do think the playoffs has been insanely fun, especially as you got past the first round. The last two games, our series and the NYB series, have been like some of the best series, in my opinion, that I've gotten to watch, especially the QC one. And I just have a prediction that no matter how this season plays out, the QC Rift Sharks and whoever wins that to go against NYB, both those series will be awesome. So I think this
Yep.
playoffs is great.
I think it's baked. I think
So
it
baked.
sucks that we've had roster issues, but that doesn't make it not exciting. And I think the 3 teams in have shown to be, I feel like, the best 3 teams in the league. But I don't know. I mean, you can do the BB Cope thing, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Set your damn alarm. I don't know what to tell you. Hate to say it.
Yep. Okay. We must investigate Rift Sharks based, good way to spell our name, because how can they go 2-5 in regular season only to reach losers finals? I mean, there's a lot going on internally. We were not throwing games. There was an incident where we lost a series and I like fucking blew up. Like, our mental was terrible. We've put it back around. We have had a hardworking roster and we have put in so much effort from that kind of back-to-back loss for Inferno and Metabusters that we had to get to where we are now. I don't know. It's been a lot. I feel like anyone who's been interacting with people on this team regularly probably knows that it's been a lot. I mean, when we were down 2-5, I think there was a lot of doubt on our team that we were just going to lose. But yeah, I mean, we managed to pull it back. I think basically everyone on the team has seen a lot of improvement. But yeah, I mean, yes,
Yeah, I think even
I
when we were
think
losing.
I think if anyone could have been in our calls and observing everything that's happened over the last few months, like absolute cinema, you would have loved the experience. It's been a complete roller coaster. But yeah, it's crazy. I agree.
Yeah,
But I don't think we
just
need to be
think
investigated.
No, I don't.
But
I think everybody just, even when the going got hard and losses happened, everybody kept a positive mindset. Like, sure, you can get frustrated in the moment, but nobody ever carried that beyond the moment. And everybody continued to show up and want to get better. And I did never really doubt us, but I always have confidence. So
yeah,
I knew we could do it, and it just feels to me like we're finally playing how we should have been.
yep,
Um, and yeah, my squad practiced and we got better. I don't. It's not, and I think when you look at Metabusters did it last season, it's like sometimes a team does just level up over the course of the season. Sometimes teams come in really strong and they play strong the whole way. Sometimes teams come in strong and they fall off. And pretty often teams start rough and then just continuously improve. And I think that just speaks to the attitude of the players in that situation. So yeah.
yeah. I'm chemfogging it just because of the tone of it. I feel like the we must investigate because how is this possible? I feel like that's a little antagonistic. But yes, it's been really
Sure.
interesting. Our team has been crazy. This has been the most interesting season in terms of captaining that I've ever had. So I'm thriving. Chris Senna is his best
Next.
champion because he actually builds her right, unlike Brand. I don't think I've paid enough attention to know what he builds on Brand. I'm gonna be real, so we can just say
Yeah,
base.
I don't
That's funny.
know. Let's just say based. Let's say based. I don't really know about the brand build.
Okay, I just gotta check one thing. We're like way over time, but I mean I'm chilling. I just gotta make
I'm
sure that
having
I'm
fun. I'm not in any rush,
continuing to
so we can
chill.
keep going
Yeah.
if you want to.
I mean we have like 6 more to knock out.
Let's just do it.
Okay. Um oh, 5 more to knock out. Since Alberts went from 7 to 4th, is it safe to say Alberts will be first next season because they gained 3 places in
Ooh.
another? Just based. Fucking yes.
Based. Just
Yes.
based it.
If they
Just
keep
based
doing what
it.
they've been
Yeah.
doing, yes, that'll happen.
Yeah.
Um, Mason has baited people into thinking Tank Echo is good. Again, based.
Uh,
Unless you think it's
I don't
actually
think
good.
I don't think the Tank Echo build is insanely good unless you're really good at Echo. But I also do think it's a little nerfed since what it was a
Yeah.
month or two ago. So yeah, I do think
Yeah.
Mason has baited people a little bit into thinking it's better than what it is.
I will also say, like, if you don't know Mason, like, Mason just builds, like, Mason is probably the best tank player we have in the server. Mason struggles to play assassins consistently. So if Mason finds a build that you can take an assassin champion and turn it into a tank, it makes Mason the best player in the game. We've seen this with other
Yeah.
picks too. This is not a
Yeah.
uniquely Echo thing. So I think that is the perfect build for Mason's Echo. It is not the perfect build for everybody's Echo. And I don't know.
Yeah,
We saw similar
I saw that
performances with
build and
Albert on both builds.
yeah. I
So
saw that build and I knew that Mason would like it and I gave it to the man and he's never made it look bad. So yeah, it's just it's his pick at this point.
yeah, I don't know. They did a good job on it, but maybe we don't all need to pick it up. Okay. Is this another Gruer take? Did you submit this one?
Which one?
Albert's Inferno has the 2 best AD carry players on the in the
I
server on the
did,
same team.
I did submit this
Okay.
one.
I mean,
Yes,
I'm just
and
gonna say it's
I've already
based
kind
because
of talked about it.
I
I
agree
think it's
with you.
based. I mean, like a holistic player when you consider lane phase, when you consider team fighting. I think all around. I think there's players that can match them in lane. I think there's players that can match them in team fighting. But I think when you just look at overall, yeah, they're there.
Yep. Okay, this one is interesting. Snow best jungle in server. I want to say baked.
Uh, it's he's up there, but it is baked to me
Yeah.
respectfully.
I think Snow getting
It's
second
close.
was contested, which means that Snow getting first is not uncontested.
Yeah, I think there was a clear 4 pack of Mike, Mason, Snow, with Jakar being ahead. And I think all 4 of those players are right there. I don't think, yeah, I don't think you can say it's just the best outright.
Yep. Okay, this one says not a take. Huge Dean shout out for doing the pod so much this season. So thank you. And yeah,
Based, yeah.
thanks Gruer for keeping me on it and making sure I'm available to do it. That's been a huge part of it. I don't know. I feel like last season I was using Mason's lack of availability as an excuse to not do it, and Gruer literally just DM'd me this season and goes, "I got a webcam. We're doing State of Scrims," and that's rest is history, I guess. So I'm gonna
fun.
change that into a shout out to Gruer. Been
Oh.
enjoying this a lot. And
Thank
this
you.
one, I don't. Can you evaluate this? Because I can't. Snow has the best laugh of anyone in Scrim Zone. I don't think I've heard Snow
I
laugh.
don't think I've heard Snow's laugh.
Okay, someone submit an audio clip and send it in season discussion. Thank you.
I don't think I've heard it. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, send a clip. I'll assume that a MetaBusters player submitted that and just trust him and go based. But
Yeah. I mean, I think we have some MetaBusters homework to do. If your name is Noam, please compile power rankings based on how playoffs have gone so far and tell us who's the closest. And if you just, I don't know, if anyone has a clip of Snow's laugh, just submit that. But yeah, I think we can call it there. That's the rest of the takes. Hopefully we get some more
follow.
through the rest of the season. But yeah, I don't know. This has been an absolutely banger season so far. I honestly, I was walking into the podcast, and my take was going to be the playoffs have shown that this is the most competitive season we've ever had in Scrim Zone. It's kind of on par with season 9, except I just think
Um,
the amount of upsets have been a little higher. I feel like there was more like tilt going into last season, but certainly 9 and 10 have been the most competitive. I think 8 teams is doing wonders for us. So definitely not on board with the hate on season 10 playoffs. Um, yes, Rift Sharks was the benefactor of a series that unfortunately fell into our hands, but not anything we did. So
we showed
I
up
don't know.
and played who was on the other side. That's all you
Yeah.
do.
But yeah, I mean, I think everyone's been amazing. I've loved getting to see so many different people in playoffs. Honestly, the changing rosters thing is kind of a perk, especially for the teams that are still in, because we've gotten to see more people play than usual. The
Yeah,
fact that
definitely.
Daniel got some wins in, and then the rest of NYB
Yeah.
got some wins in. I think some people were. I think this might have just been Daniel trying to get a roster spot in the series, but some people were casting doubt on if they could win without the Daniel roster, and NYB showing that they can beat the 1 and 2 seeds with 2 different rosters, I think is really impressive. And I think there's going to be an absolutely banger finals. I think us as a dark horse candidate is super cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think super fun season. I am excited to see how the rest of the series goes. Everyone make sure to tune in on Sunday for losers finals. And I think the scheduling for NYMB for finals is going to be a little tough. So we'll have to see when that's going to end up being. But yeah, just make sure y'all stay tuned to the streams. These are going to be some bangers. And I know we're going to have some great casters on them, no matter who it is. Really appreciate everyone who's been doing all the casting. So
Definitely. Definitely.
but yeah. All right. Well, I will see you later. This is a nice long episode. Hope you enjoyed. But yeah, peace. See you Sunday.
Peace.